Would you support a socially progressive policy which ensures that products and services purchased by the city are accessible to persons with disabilities, and all new and renovated buildings and structures are universally accessible to the entire population?
Again, I think accessibility has to be our watchword, and we need to be integrating it into all of our forward thinking. I'm absolutely thrilled that as transit gets expanded, the new streetcars that are coming in will be accessible. As I said, I am appalled that we've pushed back the date for when all of our subways will be appropriately wheelchair accessible. And I don't think that we can afford to wait to 2024. I think we have to push back at least to the earlier deadline of 2020, and that is a management decision, that is a leadership decision that we have to take. It's crazy that Toronto Rehab, which requires and that services more people in terms of physiotherapy after stroke and cardiac events, so people that are in wheelchairs, people who have mobility issues, doesn't have a subway in front of it that's wheelchair accessible. I mean, just as a prioritization, that's where you need to think about going there first as opposed to a one-size-fits-all. Thank you.
Mr. Pantalone.
Well, the Toronto Rehab Centre is not right on the subway. You have to get on the sidewalk, which is another issue. But anyway, sorry, I can help myself there. I just want to point out that the city approved the accessibility plan in 2003, almost 7 years ago. And out of this, the city now has a universal design concept, which means basically all our renovated and newly constructed buildings and facilities, whether it's streetcars or new subways, have to be 1,000% accessible. And by the way, they have to be more than that. They also have to be green buildings, like green roofs, green Toronto building standards, and so forth. Because accessibility is really part of the holistic solution to make sure that we have quality of life in our city. And so therefore we should not be sort of putting things into silos. Doesn't matter if it's accessibility or anything else.
Thank you, Mr. Pantalone. Mr. Mammoliti.
I touched a little bit about standing committees and the importance of actually recognizing the needs of Torontonians. There's absolutely no reason why we cannot introduce a standing committee that deals with the disability issues in this city. And when you do that, you bring out the arguments that are necessary, like this one. And in this day and age, there's absolutely no reason why we need to wait 10, 15, 20 years to become for this argument to become a reality. I also believe that it shouldn't end with design and lobbies and design of buildings and roofs and that sort of thing, but actual units that people live in, I think, is a must. We must recognize that when 15% of the population have disabilities, that perhaps we should be designing the units and buildings accordingly. Every unit should be designed accordingly to meet the needs of people that either live in there or visit.
Thank you, Mr. Mammoliti. Mr. Ford.
Absolutely, Steve. 100% I agree that all new renovated buildings should be accessible to people with disabilities. This is where we should spend money, ladies and gentlemen. We should spend a lot of money helping these people out with disabilities. Because if you haven't got your health, it's the most important thing in the world is your health. Outside of anything else is your health. But when you go through the list and find out where the money is being squandered at City Hall, where I would stop that sort of foolish spending and redirect it into the community of people that have disabilities, that's what I would do. For example, $45 million we spent on renovating Nathan Phillips Square. Come on, this is a waste of money. We're spending $80,000 a year paying someone to water plants. I can't make this stuff up, ladies and gentlemen. $100,000 for free food at council meetings for councilors that make $100,000 a year. On top of it, we have an expense account of $53,000. Like, this is where the money, this is the area where we should be spending money, not on this crazy stuff. There's 1,200 employees with city credit cards.
Thank you, Mr. Ford. That's time. Sorry. Ms. Thomson.
This is a question that in 2010 should not have to be asked, and I keep asking these gentlemen, what have you been doing? Unlocking the ability of our city to be socially progressive is a key part of my platform. All services and products purchased by the city must be completely accessible, from computers in libraries to elevators and subway stations. My administration will work to make all buildings and structures completely accessible. Thank you.
George Smitherman.
When I was a rookie MPP, Pizza spent $275,000 to open a new store on Parliament Street, and after all of those renovations, left about a 10-inch lip because building code allowed them to do it. And I think it's time for us in Toronto to get ahead of the work that's been done on the AODA, which is a great advance over what was there before, but at the end of the day, it's way too modest a document. It asks that justice, this notion of justice delayed is justice denied. It asks people to wait too long. We're giving up on an economic opportunity for Toronto by not creating opportunity for people with disabilities to be in the workforce, either through the barriers of accessibility or the barriers of equal opportunity to employment. Government has an opportunity to lead in each of these cases. The City of Toronto is a socially progressive government. If you elect me as your mayor, you will see me leading, championing these issues in this progress, because this is the way I've worked as a member of provincial parliament for 10 years.
Thank you, candidates.